DataOps Polska. If you can hear me, if you can see my slides, if you can see my video, please type plus in our chat. At the moment, I'm looking for chat. Yep, I can see a chat. Yep, thanks from Raf, thanks from Philip. You can expect a lot of information today. Maybe start from introduction. I'm Ruslan Kornichuk. I'm Ukrainian. I have been living in Poland since 2012 for more than 8 years for now. I'm an IT architect at Capgemini, Poland. And finally, I'm PhD student at the University of Silesia, here in Katowice, Poland. Good news for you, I prepared real contest with prizes. We have 5 AWS Amazon Web Services vouchers for you, $25 each. Yep, so I need your attention during this presentation. We will start from the theory of DataOps 3.0, and next we will go to practice and let's check how we can create our workflows in Airflow, Luigi, and AWS step functions. Let's start from joke. This one, the second law of IT, the first 80% of developers are not as hard as the second 80% of the development. Guys, if you know first law of IT or third law of IT, please type in chat. Tomasz will help me check the best answer from your side. Yes, of course, it's not official, it's unofficial, not formal, but I'm pretty sure you know the first law of IT or the third law of IT. Just wait a few seconds for answers. If you don't know, you also can use chat and just type your location. Like I'm today streaming from Katowice city, and I'm interested in check your location. Scotland, not bad, Raf. Germany, Warsaw, Poland, Greece. Wow, we have a real international webinar today, not just Poland. I hope you guys just using this COVID time and working remotely for our Polish companies from Greece, Mexico, Germany. Go ahead with my slides. Let's talk about DataOps. Yep, I know you know so many different descriptions about what does it mean DataOps. And I have one more for you. In my description about DataOps, we need to start from DevOps. We know DevOps, development and operations, and DevOps improves quality, velocity, and scaling of software development. So we are talking about software engineering, software development. DataOps use borrowing methods from DevOps and offers the same improvement to our production data science. So I will talk today about DataOps as technology for our production data science. So if you're working with data science, if you're working with machine learning models, so it's really presentation for you. But one more time, we have theory of DataOps 3.0, and also we have practice part. Let's move to best practices for DevOps, because DevOps is just concept or methodology. We don't have concrete technology stack. We need to select best practices, and next we need to use some tool set. And when we talk about best practices, it's a good idea just find some concrete technology or solution to verify our best practices based on this tool. And I can recommend for you Jupyter. It can be Jupyter Notebook, single user, Jupyter Hub, multiple user, or Jupyter Lab, the newest solution from Jupyter. And now move forward to best practices. Let's start from alerting. Do we have by default alerting in Jupyter products? No, but yes, of course, we can use some external additional extensions, plugins, in order to do something with alerting. Also, we can just write a piece of Python code, add to our Jupyter notebook, and send some notification. Move forward to CI/CD. I need your help, guys. Please type in your chat, what does D means in CI/CD. If you think it's development, please type development. If you think it's delivery, type delivery. If it's deployment, please type deployment. Let's check what we have. Disaster. Yep, Raf, thanks. I like your answer. Deployment, disaster. We need more answers. Tomasz, Philip, can you help us? CI/CD. What's D? Data, loss of data. Okay, from my personal point of view, it's delivery. So it's continuous integration, continuous delivery. And yes, of course, we don't have nothing by default in Jupyter products related to continuous integration, continuous delivery. Again, we can install something external, but it's not by default. Code review, I can recommend you really check how GitHub right now presents our Jupyter notebooks in github.com webpage. It looks really cool, but it's not real code review. So we cannot easily select some lines of Jupyter notebooks and commit to author in order to change, update, improve this Jupyter notebook. So there is no real code reviewing for Jupyter notebooks for now. Integration testing, the same. Logging, yep, you can use logs, or you can use just print Python function in order to see something, but it's not a production solution. Metric collection, yep, we have in our Jupyter notebook metric collection. We can collect our metrics for example, for machine learning models. In classification, we can collect information about accuracy, like quality of our model, 80%, 90%, 95%. Move forward to monitoring. Again, by default, nothing for monitoring. Quality validation. In data science, machine learning, when I'm talking about quality validation, I mean we have our base model, like baseline, for example, 70%, and we are trying to build new, better model with higher accuracy, not like 70, but maybe 80, like production measurement. Next, reproducibility. And then we talk about reproducibility in DataOps. I mean, we have our current model, for example, with classification, with accuracy 80%. And we are building new model now, and we need to compare quality of our new model with quality of our current model. And only if we have better quality of our new model, we need to deploy our new model. If you have, for example, 90% of accuracy, but our current model has 80. In another case, if we have lower quality, for example, 50, we need to skip the stage, yeah, because new model is worse than previous one, so we don't need to deploy our new model. That's why I mean when talking about test regressions. Sorry, maybe I'm confused you a little bit. Yep, move back to reproducibility. No reproducibility, so I'm use my Jupyter notebook on my local machine. It can be a Docker image, for example, or it can be installed with pip package index for Python libraries. And imagine I will leave my project or start my vacation. Only I have access to my Jupyter notebooks and my code. So no easy to use reproducibility. If another team member want to reproduce my code, I need to share in some way my Jupyter notebooks, my data, maybe sometimes credentials. We need to create credentials for another team member. Scheduling, nothing by default. Test regression, we have already talked. Our current model and our new model, we need to compare quality between these models before deployment process. And unit test, for example, in Python, we use PyTest. I use PyTest library. I can recommend, and it's not part of Jupyter notebook. You can say too much. I'm absolutely agree with you. It's too much. That's why we need MVP, minimum viable product. So from this long list, we can select something really core. And from, again, just my point of view, It should be continuous integration, continuous delivery, quality validation, and reproducibility. And again, you can say too much. How I can just start immediately and be DataOps company, not DevOps, not Agile, Scrum, not Waterflow, but DataOps. So you can start from this 5 concrete, easy steps. First, you need to share data science code to Git repository. Yes, of course, it can be your private Git server like Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab. I can recommend AWS code services like commit in order to store your code and next review your code. You need to use versioning of data science code. Just add as header title to your file version of this file. And you can use requirement.txt if you're developing in Python language and add versions to scripts, to your Python scripts. Also, I can recommend add owner to scripts. So in situation, in case when you have some problems with piece of code, you can easily find owner, maintainer of this code and ask about help. So as successful developer, I can expect if I'm add my family name to this document, so I'm responsible for this document, and it's motivating me to prepare really good code with good high quality. Documentation, yep, we need this documentation because in another case, in sometimes somebody just delete your code because no documentation, I don't know how to use, just delete and start again from scratch. And finally, tools like PyTest for unit test and Flakate. If you're new with Flakate, I can recommend Flakate library because you can check your code against coding style, also known as PEP8 standard in Python. You can check your code against programming errors like standard typos. And the interested one, you can check cyclomatic complexity. Cyclomatic complexity is a software metric used to measure the complexity of program. So you have some threshold, for example, 10. So all code with complexity below 10 or equal to 10, it's good code, excuse me, and whole code with complexity above 10, it's bad code. And you need to rewrite your code in order to decrease complexity of your Python code. Regular code reviews, I can recommend peer-to-peer reviews in your team, and you can automate your tests. So you can use PyTest, and you can also automate PyTest in some CI/CD pipelines. Go forward to our DataOps and core, because DataOps is just concept or methodology. We have already talked a little bit about best practices where you can start your journey with DataOps and move forward for technologies. And in order to be okay with best practices, to use best practices, you can start looking for workflow managers. And yes, of course, I can expect question from your side why I should start to use workflow managers if I have just my Cron or Cron tab. So next questions to you guys, please type in chat how many asterisks stars do we have in our Cron task, in our Cron tab file. 1 asterisk star, 2 asterisks, more, 4. Not bad, we need more. Raf, who can give me more than 4? 6, too much. Philip, 5. Yep, thanks, DC. As I know, I'm not expert in Cron and Cron tab files, but as I know, it should be 5 stars in our Cron scheduler. And why Cron scheduler is bad solution for DataOps or not good enough, I can say, because we have problem with no reproducibility. So in general, we have our Linux server, we have Cron tab file, and only on this system, we have our code, and we have some pipelines, workflows. no logs by default. You can start logging. No monitoring, no alerts. You need extra solutions in order to guarantee these best practices. Code and logic duplication. If you have just one task and this task should be run every day, for example, yep, Cron tab is great solution for this one. But if you have multiple task workflows, you need to use something more advanced. And finally, maintenance time grows exponentially. So you have one, you spend 1 hour, you have two, you can expect maybe 1.5 or 2 hours. You have three, you can expect 2 or 3 hours. So you need more time if you have more tasks in your cron tab to be scheduled. We have comments, just one moment. One does not simply have mastery to things in IT. Yep, exactly. Cron tab and regex. Thanks, Philip, for your comment. So move forward. We are looking for workflow manager and we decide cron. It's okay in some cases, but what we can do more in workflow managers? We can go forward to Python. And in Python, we have great library schedule name. It depends on your location. It can be schedule. It can be schedule. How it looks, we have, we need to install our library with pip, for example. Next, import our library, like schedule. We need to create our tasks. It can be in form of just Python functions. So name of this function is job. And what we want to do, just print I am working, nothing more. And next, we can easily run, execute, schedule our job, for example, every 10 minutes. So we will type schedule dot every 10 dot minutes dot do, and next choose our Python function. And the same you can do in daily base, in monthly base, whatever. So it's more human readable than cron, because you will work not with asterisks and stars, you will work with standard like English words like minutes, hours, or weekly day like Monday. Where is the problem? Problem is below. So we need to use like infinity loop. So my question, why I can run my Python code with infinity loop? Can I use my Jupyter notebook? Yep, you can, but it's not the best solution. So it's my laptop need to work 24 hours per 7 days during the week. So I need to use probably some servers. If I will use like Linux server, maybe I need to go forward with like services and create from this piece of Python code just Linux service. So sounds like too complicated just for one or multiple jobs to be done. So move forward to like more standard production ready workflow managers. We have Pinball, Airflow, Mistral, Azkaban, Luigi, Uzi. Let's start from Azkaban and Uzi. Azkaban originally powered by LinkedIn company, now Microsoft company. Uzi written by Yahoo, and now it's Apache project. And many years ago, you can see like 9-10 years ago, Azkaban Uzi, sorry, Azkaban Uzi was written for big data. And when I talk about big data, I mean Hadoop cluster, like Mapper, Cloudera, Hortonworks. And many years ago, all your workflows was written in XML. If you don't know what does it mean, lucky you. Unfortunately, I know what is this. So I am sharing example of XML. And again, from my personal point of view, it's absolutely non-readable. It's non-human readable type of reading workflows for our workflow manager. That's why, from my point of view, you need to skip Uzi and Azkaban in order, yes, of course, in case if you do not plan to use real big data like Hadoop clusters. Maybe for Hadoop based projects, Azkaban, Uzi, it can be great choice. Mistral, another one, if you plan to work with OpenStack or if you're working with OpenStack now, yes, of course, I can recommend to check Mistral. But move forward to second generation of workflow managers, because the first generation, like Azkaban, Uzi, with XML form of workflows, we can name it as first generation of workflow managers, also known as first version of DataOps, like DataOps 1.0, Uzi, Azkaban. Second generation of workflow managers, DataOps 2.0, it's Airflow, Luigi, and Pinball, because we can use Python in order to write our workflows. So no XML, no YAML, we can use no JSON, we can use just our Python. And we will check how we can do it easily with Python language a little bit later on the session. Pinball, you can see this emoji closely to Pinball because it's dead project. And reason of death for Pinball project, it's very small number of contributors. So mainly we have too much contributors for like Luigi or Airflow and not enough contributors for Pinball. That's why it's dead project for now. And maybe we can expect big companies like, I don't know, Microsoft, Google, Azure, or Apache Foundation do something good for Pinball. But for now, it's around 1 year ago was death of Pinball projects. So from my personal feeling, we can and we need to forget about Pinball. Just one more time, repeat: first generation of workflow managers, Uzi, Azkaban with XML, second generation with Python like Luigi, Airflow, Pinball. Now let's talk about Airflow. And what you need to know in Airflow, it's DAG concept. So DAG, also known as directed acyclic graph. Polish guys, Philip, Tomasz, type in chat, please. How do I say directed acyclic graph in Polish? Just let's check. Do you know this terminology or not? Help me translate directed acyclic graph from English to Polish. One, DAG in Polish. Okay, I can propose you skierowany graph acykliczny. Yep, and you can check how it works for you. So what does it mean in practice? DAG is just collection of tasks with their relationship. And on my screen, you can see DAG. You can see name of the DAG example. You can see a collection of tasks. Task 1, task 2 together looks like collection. And finally, you can see a relationship between task 1 and task 2. So I can expect Airflow will run task first, and next task second. That's why I have this arrow between tasks. So DAG is just a collection of tasks with their relationships. Move forward. So Airflow, second generation of workflow managers, we can write our workflows in Python. We can import our DAG. And also in this example, one more time, I'm planning to use bash operator and Python operator. That's why I need to import bash operator and Python operator from Airflow library. Let's start from Python operator. The same with schedule library, we need to use just Python function. For example, name of function task2 and action just print task2, nothing hard. Next, we can use default arguments because we can combine, collect our arguments and move to default arguments. For example, owner or maintainer. For all my workflows, I will be owner, maintainer, and start date. There is no typo, and we will talk a little bit later about why, if we plan to start our task from today, we need to use -1 day as start date. A little bit later, but just you can see today is 8th of December, but in Airflow, we need to use 7th of December. So we have our Python operator, we have our default arguments, move forward to DAG. So DAG is collection of our task with their relationship. We have name, example, we have our default arguments, and we have schedule interval. So I will run my task on daily basis every day. And I have my two tasks, task 1, bash operator, task 2, Python operator. So Python operator is just function, and this function will print task 2. Bash operator with the same functionality, but it's bash command, Linux command, echo task 1. So this command just print task 1. And now move forward to relationships. From my point of view, it's the best solution in order to write relationships in our workflow. And as you can see, Airflow will start task 1 and next will run task 2 after successful execution of task 1. And finally, we can collect everything together. We need to import DAG and our operators from Airflow. We need to describe our Python operator just with function. We can move, it's not obligatory, but it's a good idea to move our default arguments to default arguments dictionary. DAG, you can use context manager in Python, so just start with DAG, next name, default argument, how often you plan to run our job, like daily. Good news, you can use cron tab expressions with these stars inside, or you can use like monthly inside schedule interval as value. And we have our tasks, task 1, task 2, bash operator, Python operator, and finally we have relationships. Airflow, please start task 1. In case of success, please run task 2. Agnieszka has question, just one moment. Yep, Airflow has additional visual interface, and we will show how it looks from web console later. But if you mean, Agnieszka, can I build like Lego bricks only in my web console? My workflow, as I know, no, it's impossible. You need to use Python code like this one, and next Airflow will visualize, present your workflow in web console. Just in a moment, I will show right now. So that's how looks our code, this one, after successful execution in Airflow or with Airflow, in Airflow console. You can find so many cool tabs here. For example, graph view, and you can see task 1, next task 2, status, where is success, and task 1 is bash operator, task 2 is Python operator. That's how it looks in practice. And Agnieszka, as I know, you cannot build your workflow like codeless style here inside Airflow web console. You need to use Python. With Azkaban, Uzi, you need to use XML. I don't know for now. Tomasz, you can type in chat. Can I replace XML in Azkaban now in 2020, or I still need to use XML? Let's check. And if somebody else also no answer on this question, can we use non-XML like Python or YAML in newest version of Azkaban? Please type in chat. Yep, let's check later. From my information based on my experience, no, we need to use XML. And now move forward to Luigi. So in Airflow, we have our workflows in Python. We can use web interface, web console. We can see status. Not bad. Move forward to Luigi. And core idea, what we need to know in Luigi is this one. We have task 1, task 2, and how looks relationships. I can describe my relationships with requires method. So requires task 1 for task 2. It means please run task 1 first, and next run task 2 in case of success. And next part of core idea is output. So output of your task can be, for example, a file with data. So task is export data from some website or parse some website and store data to file like CSV or JSON file. So output, it's your JSON file. And why we need this? Because next task 2 can use our file as an input for task 2. And why we need this core idea? Because finally, if I run task 1 and next I fail it with task 2, I can update task 2, I can run task 2, and task 2 will skip task 1 because I have already created task 1 output. So I can check in task 2 for output, and if task 1 exists, it means successful execution of task 1, I can skip and just run task 2 based on this data. So if in your workflow you have multiple steps like export something, transfer something, you don't need to spend your time in order to rerun all your tasks and relationships. You can just start from the end from task 2. And we will check in the code just in the moment. Yep, thanks, Tobias. In chat, you can find link in project, and with this project, you can migrate your Uzi to Airflow. Cool, absolutely new information for me, Toby. Many thanks for your comment. Luigi, so again, second generation of workflow managers, and we can use Python in order to write our workflows. So we need to import our Luigi library, and I'm planning to use again Python operator and Linux bash operator. So in Luigi name for Linux bash operator, it's external program task. Next, our tasks in Luigi look like classes. Class 1, task 1, class 2, task 2. And type of task 1, it's our Linux bash operator, external program task, and type of task 2, it's standard Python or Luigi task. Next, we have our requires. Just move back for a moment. So relationships, you can see here, it's requires methods for task 2. And you can find in our code, task 2 requires, and you can see task 1. So it's mean, Luigi, please run task 1 first, next run task 2. And final part, it's our output and input. So in task 1, I have my output. It should be local target, so local file with name task 1. And next, in task 2, I will use this file as an input. So if file exists, just skip task 1. If no task 1 file, run task 1, create this file, open this file, add some information. Input, where is input? Output, excuse me, here in task 1, and you can use as input in task 2. And next, collect everything together. Yep, from my personal point of view, it looks much more readable than Airflow code. You need to import Luigi. You can use form of classes for task 1, task 2. You have output, you have input, you have requires. Program arguments is just methods for external program tasks. In another type of tasks, you can expect another blocks methods in your class. And finally, for Luigi, you also can find web console, and you can see in your browser, for example, the same like dependency graph. We have task 1, we have task 2, and you have different visualization types. So move forward, we have Airflow, Luigi, second generation of workflow managers. Let's try to compare Airflow versus Luigi. Everything in Python for both Airflow and Luigi, so no XML like with Uzi or Azkaban. Next, built-in features like bash operator for Airflow, or the same idea but external program task for Luigi. Open source, both projects are open source, Airflow, Luigi, and maintenance. You can expect if we can see web console, we need web server, so we need to maintain our Airflow server and our Luigi server. But from my personal feeling, we need to spend much more time in order to maintain Airflow server, because in Airflow we have web server and also we have scheduler. In Luigi I have only like web server and I can use like local scheduler, so I don't have this big part. That's why I can maintain Luigi much faster. So what we can do, we can clean up a little bit all the stuff. Python, the same built-in features, open source, maintenance, because we have server. Now we have much cleaner comparison. Let's start from DAGs catalog. What does it mean? So in your web console in Airflow, you can see set of your DAGs, collection of your DAGs. Just one more time, DAGs, it's collection of tasks with their relationships. So in one place, you can find all your tasks and all your DAGs, like collection of tasks, and also all your tasks. You can see status, you can use web interface in order to rerun or clean history, for example. You have so many opportunities and tabs. And yes, of course, we don't have DAGs catalog in Luigi because we don't have this concept of DAGs in Luigi. That's why we can keep as pros of Airflow DAGs catalog. Next, annoying scheduler, and it's pros for Airflow because we don't have scheduling in Luigi. When I mean scheduling, in practice, I mean this planner like Cron tab, so I can plan something to be execute on monthly base, something every day. And for this context, I need some scheduler. And I have this scheduler in Airflow. I can use like add daily in order to run daily every day, or I can use cron syntaxes. Yeah, but in Luigi, I don't have this part. That's why it's cons for Luigi. Readable DAG concept. Personally, I like this idea. Then I have tasks. I can collect this task in DAG, and next I can operate with DAG. In Luigi, I don't have this idea. I have tasks everywhere. And next, readable relationships. What does it mean? Just one more time. In Airflow, we can use Python bit shift operator. So for my workflow manager like Airflow, it's mean please run task first. And next, run task 2 or second task. And reverse, you can use run task 1 first and next run task 2 second. In Luigi, one more time, we have requires method. So when you add this block to your new task, you can expect this task will run task 1 first and next your task. What we can do, we can add Airflow like relationships readability. So just Python comment with hash, and you can see the same. So you need to add this part, yes, of course, but also you can add one more comment in your code, and you easily can see relationships between tags. We have one more comment from Tobias. Google has Airflow as service as well, and it's called Composer. Yep, exactly. And I noticed the same idea last time in AWS. So in AWS, you can use Airflow server, and you don't need to maintain your Airflow server. Yep. But again, in scheduler, for example, if you don't have server, you don't need to maintain or you don't need to pay for maintenance to Google or to AWS. But if you have Luigi or Airflow, you need to pay for server, or you need to pay, or you need to maintain, excuse me, by yourself, or you need to pay to Google or AWS for maintenance. Thanks, Tobias. Yep, also new information for me. I know about AWS and now I know about GCP, Google Cloud Platform. So relationships, regular relationships, it's not good pros because we can do the same in Luigi. So just clean up, move forward. DAGs owner. What does it mean in practice? In our DAGs catalog, you can see column owner and you can see owner name or maintainer name, and you can easily contact this person and ask what the hell is going on here. And next, how we can do the same in Luigi. In Luigi, you can again just add one more comment to your Python code, like owner and your family name, your name, like Ruslan Kornichuk. Easy to do, so you can do the same in Luigi. That's why we can again clean up this comparison table and remove DAX owner because we can do the same in Luigi. Next, go to bad things for Airflow. And the first bad news, it's delay between task execution. We need visualization. Yes, of course. That's how looks my visualization. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tasks. And I spent 5 minutes in order to run my 8 tasks. And good question, where is task execution? So task execution is this small green rectangle, this one, this one, this one. So I can combine all these green rectangles together and I can expect maybe 20, maximum 30 seconds. But I have already spent 5 minutes. And another crazy thing you can see here. How do you think? Why we have so small, short delay between task execution? You can type in chat, and we have another one question. Is it possible to add or change columns in DAG user interface? I don't know answer on this question. You can just check how you can do it. Yes, of course, it's open source. So like right answer, you can do whatever you want. Just clone repository and change whatever you want. But can I like drag and drop columns? I don't know. I never tried something like this. Like in Excel, you can do, for example, or Google spreadsheets. Thanks, Philip, for your question. We don't have answer for this anomaly, and answer its tasks was run in parallel. So I can say, yeah, it's parallel, but I can say it should be on one line. I don't want wait like 15 maybe seconds between tasks if I want to run in one time in parallel. And these big gaps spaces, it's our delay between task execution. So that's why maybe Airflow is bad choose for you. That's why we need to keep delay between task execution in this table. And next, move forward to next cons of Airflow. I cannot test run all my tasks with their relationships in like one command. I cannot do it in any ways. Bad idea. Yep, and in Luigi, as you know, we can do it. So I can just run task 2, and if no outputs, Luigi will run task first, next task 2. If I have output from task 1, Luigi will skip task 1 and just run task 2. So I can easily run tasks with their relationships. And move forward to Luigi, rapid prototyping. Yep, you can just believe me or you can easily check. Code looks much more readable for Luigi and documentation much shorter because you don't have this complex concepts like DAG, like scheduling. Just a moment. We have questions, and also I need some water. Tobias, thanks for your comment. Um, I don't know about Airflow second version, but this, let me show again. This delays between tasks, it's like philosophy of Airflow. So I can expect maybe Airflow will change this philosophy dramatically in new version, but right now it's not bug, it's really feature of Airflow. So in Airflow, we have scheduler, and scheduler just checking all my DAGs, checking all my tasks, find, download from S3, execute, wait. Next, again, check all my DAGs, all my tags, find, decompress, execute. So that's how it works for now, and it's like philosophy core idea of Airflow. So I will check. Tobias, again, thank you very much. Very useful information. Rapid prototyping, we have already discussed. Building target. What does it mean in practice? In Luigi, I can use local target. For example, file.txt file. I will parse some website, or I will get some information from another files and store everything to file.txt. And I can use this output as input for another tasks. So I can skip this step, because usually parsing some websites, for example, or getting data from database, you can expect huge time to do it. But next, you need analyze data or clean up data, and you don't need to wait so much time. So we can do it much faster. And if you want to rerun everything, it means you want to parse again all websites, store data, clean data, analyze data. But if you have Luigi, and if you have already parsed data, you can use this like archive. Next, you can clean and analyze, and you can save your time with Luigi targets. And also, you can use not only local targets, you can use, for example, S3. Just 2 lines of code. And next task will check if file exists on S3. S3 it's like key value storage powered by AWS, Amazon Web Services. And if file exists, just skip this stage, task. Just 2 lines of code in Luigi. Looks cool. What about Airflow? We can do the same, but we need more lines of code. I can use path library. If exists, just skip these tasks. And the same for S3 storage, much more lines, but idea is the same. I need to connect to my S3 storage. I need to check for my file.txt file. And if exists, just skip these tasks. So I can do the same, but I need some effort time in order to do this. So maybe it's not a great idea. But finally, we can remove these built-in targets in our comparison. Easy to start. Yep. Again, you can just believe me, or you can see how looks code, or you can just easily play with Luigi. Much easier to start because you need to run just one server, like Luigi D command. In Airflow, you need to run your web server, and next to you need to run your scheduler. And before running your scheduler, you need to understand this philosophy of Airflow. So when I'm trying to run task today, I need to use yesterday date, not today. If I plan to run something in December, I need to use November as start date, so I can easily start December. If I will type December and run in December, nothing to do based on Airflow philosophy. And you need to know all this philosophy. Yep, you need to know this philosophy of Airflow in order to start using Airflow. And DAGs concept, yep, we have in Airflow, we don't have that concept. No scheduling, but maybe it can be plus for you. So and my final comment depend on project needs and project scope. Sometimes we need to use Luigi, sometimes we need to use Airflow. If we have few maintainers, engineers on the project, if we have maybe up to 10 workflows, much easier to use Luigi with some external schedulers like Cron tab. So Cron tab plus Luigi for 10 workflows works super. If you plan to use Airflow in your like department with maybe 100 engineers, developers, and you plan to create 100 or more workflows, my recommendation, forget about Luigi and start looking for Airflow for your project, because you have DAG catalog, you have information about your maintainers, you can easily rerun, you can easily schedule, plan all your executions. You can find examples. Yes, of course, I will distribute my slides at the end of this presentation, so just wait a little bit. And finally, move forward to AWS, because it's like DataOps 3.0, third generation of workflow managers. And yes, of course, you can find simple workflow service in AWS Web Console. And good note for you, if you heard something that should be simple, skip, just run, forest run, Lola run immediately from this place, because it's not simple. So as I know, it's announced more than 9 years ago. So it's not third generation of DataOps and not third generation of workflow managers. Just forget and skip simple workflow services. It's non-simple. It's complex workflow service, I can say. What you need is AWS step functions. And one more time, Polish guys, if you know how to translate step functions and how to translate, where I have this, I don't have, finite state machine, please do it. Finite state machine, and I will show in a moment how it looks. So AWS step functions, you can design your workflows, and you can use serverless like Lambda functions, Firegate, ETL, Glue service. And that's how it looks in your web console. So you have, do we have answer in Polish? Not yet, but we have finite state machines. In Polish, it should be automat skończony. We have more questions or comments. Tobias, I will check in a moment. We are going to the end of presentation, and next I will talk in Q&A session. So that's how looks visualization, and that's how looks code in AWS step functions. And you can see it's JSON. It's not YAML, it's not XML, it's not Python, it's JSON. I agree with you, it's not human readable, but it's much more human readable than XML, for example. And name of this language, it's not JSON, it's Amazon States language. And you can write, your workflows in JSON. So for example, first step is preprocess JSON. We have start, next we have preprocess JSONs. And preprocess JSONs is just Lambda function with name workflow preprocess JSON. In Ireland region, and bad news, you can see ID of my AWS account. Believe me, I will change next time code here. Fun fail for today. If you're looking for more code and comparison between Airflow, Luigi, AWS step functions, you can find my GitHub, Kornichuk, username, workflow, name of repository, and you can find the same, more complex workflow written in Airflow with Python, written in Python for Luigi, and also in JSON and in Python Lambda functions for AWS step functions. service. So you can open and you can compare. Do you like Luigi, Airflow style, or maybe AWS temp functions? Because final code super short for this one. So we have the same complex workflow, but we have very short and maybe in some way readable when we talk about visualization. Slides, yep, you can easily download slides. Tomasz, Philip, can you please help me type this URL in your browser and next copy final link because it's just URL shorter here. Pass this link to the chat. So if you need my slides today, you can easily download it. You can just take a photo, make a photo, take a screenshot. bit.ly DataOps PL, it's mean DataOps Polska. DataOps PL. Yep, thanks, Philip. And few kind words about landingi.com. I'm PhD student at the University of Silesia, and I'm working in PhD in informatics with machine learning, for example. That's why I need data provider or data partner. If you have the same challenge, if you need data for your experiments, I can recommend to contact landingi.com. And or you can look for another job opportunities, new job opportunities, or for example, internships in landingi.com. Just contact directly. And now we have contest. I need your attention and help. What you need to do, you need to send email. So you can skip subject, you need my email address, and you need to type right answer on my question. Answers should be 1, 2, or 3. So my email address you can find here. I am Ruslan Kornichuk. For Polish, it can be Kornichuk with double I. Ruslan.kornichuk with double I at gmail.com. In the moment, I will show you question. We have 5 AWS Amazon Web Services vouchers, also known as AWS credits, $25 each. And I'm waiting for the first 5 right answers on my email box, this one. And I will show question in a moment. And you need to send email. I can recommend to use mobile phone in order to save your time, so we can read quickly the question and next you can send right answer from your mobile via email. ruslan.kornichuk@gmail.com. We have 3 answers. First, you need to send 1. Second, you need to send 2. And third, you need to send 3. Just number 1, 2, 3. You need to read question, select right answer, and send me this answer via email. ruslan.kornichuk@gmail.com. And you will find email address on the next slide. Don't worry if you still typing this double I's in your email. And first case, let's check evolution of workflow managers. Uzi Pinball, Luigi Airflow, AWS Step Functions. Uzi it's first generation, but Pinball it's second generation based on Python. You can write your workflows in Python, not in XML. So it's wrong answer. Next, devolution. So we need to write from right to left. Uzi Azkaban as first. Yep, I'm agree. Luigi Airflow as second. Yep, second generation based on Python and AWS step functions. So sounds good. Let's check last one. Evolution Uzi Azkaban as first generation. Yep, sounds great. Airflow Pinball as second generation. Yep, based on Python. And Amazon Simple Workflow service. Now it's announced more than 9 years ago or around 9 years, 8, 9 years ago. and it's not simple. It's complex workflow services, so forget, and right answer is 2. If you still sending email, you need to type 2 and send me on my email address, ruslan.kornichuk@gmail.com. Again, if you're looking for more questions, for new job opportunities, for internships, you can contact me directly. I'm an IT architect at Capgemini Poland. And now, Philip, Tomasz, we can go forward to questions. And maybe I need your help because I probably skipped many questions during the presentation. Yep, you have link on.
Thanks for the great presentation. I think now.
You can find link on feedback form in chat. Please do it. Send what you think both good and bad about this presentation via this form. Yep, and guys, if you have any questions, Agnieszka, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself and you can ask question if I'm skipped your question during the presentation.
Hello, I have a question.
Hi.
You showed these examples in AWS with Airflow. Is it possible to use it for other cloud providers, for example, GCP or Azure as well?
I'm sharing right now JSON code. It's how looks workflows in AWS step functions. So name of the service, it's AWS step functions. It's not Luigi or Airflow. It's competitors alternative to Luigi and Airflow. If you're looking in way how to use Airflow in AWS, you can find another service. And name should be Airflow server. It's AWS service. And also Tobias sent link to Google Cloud Platform services. You can find the same service like Airflow server maintained by Google Cloud Platform, GCP. So you can pay to Google and Google will maintain your Airflow service.